lounging, son.
Welcome back to the Comic Lounge. My name is Ryan, and I am about to dive into the art of Arthur Adams. But before I get into it, I just want to remind you, if you're not already subscribed to the channel, please hit that subscribe button and check out some of the dope content we have on the channel. But for the most part, we have daily vids. We go through everything here. Marvel, DC, independents, art books like this, and a bunch of interviews with a ton of creators, indie creator spotlights, all that good stuff. So definitely hit that subscribe button and check out some of the other content. And now let's get into this book. So backed this on Kickstarter. I was super stoked to have this. I am a huge fan of Arthur Adams' artwork, and not sure if the video dropped, but I did do a video on Monkey Man and O'Brien, which I picked up basically around the same time this got delivered. So I had always wanted to check that book out, and I absolutely loved it. So if the video's on the channel, go check it out. If not, stay tuned because it will be coming soon. I love art books. I just love what he's done with his career. Sometimes I'll tell you the truth. There's some artists that will just get me to buy a comic even if I'm not reading that title. Art Adams is one of those artists. So I love that we open up and we get a self-portrait of none other than Art himself. You know, we get, I believe these are covers to some of his sketchbooks, or sampler, I think it was called. It says it in the back of the book. I can't remember for the life of me, but just the level of detail that he puts into his stuff. And he draws, for me, top 5 artists that draw the most beautiful women in comic books. Hands down. I love the way he draws his women. I love the way he draws, the background, the facial expressions, the eyes. What else does he draw really well? Monsters. I'd like anybody, I'll go to war with anybody over that. I'll stand on top of that mountain. Great Wolverine shot from 1986. Love this one too. I believe this was a commission. I could be wrong. Again, there's a ton of art in here. They talk more about these like front pieces in the back. But we get a little intro. We get a little background on Arthur Adams. I always love this when art books do this. It's not an interview, but it does a good summary of, his entire career, what he was influenced by. Obviously, Star Trek was, something that he was super into, the King Kong. And then we talk about the artists that really influenced him. And, I'm a huge Frazetta fan, so I always love when I see artists drop that name. It talks about how devoured all the books of Frazetta art that were available. And he wanted to draw and paint like Frazetta, but he also discovered Jack Kirby and Gil Kane around the same time. And all of those artists, really served as a huge influence on him. Talk about picking up a copy of Micronauts #1 and how much that, with Michael Golden on art, and how much that was super influential to him. Get the Uncanny X-Men Teen Titans crossover that Claremont and Walt Simonson did. It talks about he looked at intently, and it served as a bit of a Bible, an instructional guide on how to draw a team of superheroes. Walter and Chris were able to make it so clear who the characters were very quickly and still tell a compelling story. And then we go on to, talk about his career, some of the books he did, how he got in. His first professional job was through Denny O'Neil, an assignment on Bizarre Adventures, issue 34, but 35 didn't come out because the book was never published. And then he talks about pairing up with Ann Nocenti and doing the Long Shot miniseries, and then, working on those annuals with Chris Claremont. Got the Gumby summer special that he did with Bob Burden over at Comico. The New Fantastic Four 3 issues that he did, 347 through 349. The Godzilla Color Special, The Creature from Black Lagoon, and obviously Monkey Man and O'Brien, him creating that. And then he would just go on to do all these amazing covers, and he switched, to doing that. And it's crazy because he's still like such a popular creator with so little actual body of work in terms of interior work, but his cover work is, his cover game is strong. I love seeing this stuff too. You get to see all the tools of the craft, seeing him at his artboard, seeing him work on this Venom cover. And again, he does do some interiors, but that kind of goes to the back burner. He did some stuff with the Authority. He did some Hulk work. Worked on the Danger Girl special. Did some stuff with Johnny Future with the Alan Moore, Tom Strong's Terrific Tales book. He worked on Ultimate X with Jeff Loeb. Then he goes on to just basically do covers. I feel like there might be a few pages here and there of interior work after that Ultimate X. I can't remember off top, but he just recently did a bunch of cool Spider-Man covers. And I love, he ends it with saying that he's just been very fortunate that people still want him to do it, and that he's just been very fortunate and very humble guy. Cool to see the growth of his art too, from these Marvel tryout pages that he did in '82, and what his style will, look like later on. Inked by Terry Austin right here. It was a convention drawing. We get this personal piece that he did with Mignola inking. I mean, just so cool, dude. And again, we get a lot of behind the scenes directly from him. This is all him talking about these pieces. This gift he gave to Innocenti, this Alien Worlds 3D special. Get this Telegraph Wire. This is by Art Adams and Mike Mignola. Marvel Team Up. Just the cover, just the pencils for this one. Love this. Some of the design work for Longshot. And this is a different version of the Longshot cover. Get this Heroes for Hope. I love his Wolverine, man. God, I would have loved to have seen him do like a run on X-Men. We get the X-Men annual, like I was talking about, issue 9, where they go to Asgard. So good. The New Mutants annual that he did. Love getting to see these raw pencils. And then you get the inks of Terry Austin. Get the classic X-Men #1 cover. I think he did a run of these covers as well. And he taught, a huge theme I read in this is that, some of these he wishes he could go back. Like, he looks at it and thinks like what he would do differently. And I think that's true of, any of us in life. Like, we're going to look back and think like, okay, how would it have been if I did it this way, right? Like, what if I made this choice instead of that? So cool to see him just be completely raw and honest with that stuff. This piece with Gumby and Pokey, interesting. He did this February 6, 87. That's 2 days before I was born, so that definitely makes me feel old. We got this Action Comics annual. Absolutely love this. He worked with John Byrne on this. Definitely one of my prized possessions in terms of my collection. This is something I didn't know until I opened this book, that he worked on a Wonder Woman annual. Definitely going to be seeking this out. Get this Appleseed cover that he did over at Eclipse. Some X Factor. X-Men Asgardian Wars trade paperback cover. And then these Fantastic Four. I loved these issues. I mean, Ghost Rider, Hulk, Mr. Fix-It Hulk, nonetheless, Spider-Man and Wolverine as the new Fantastic Four. So freaking awesome. And then here, this was in Livingstone Mountain #1. This was the How to Draw Comics the Arthur Adams Way. I mentioned this briefly in the Monkey Man and O'Brien book. Conan, dude. Love this. And he talks about being a huge fan of, the Barry Smith books and John Buscema. But he will go on later to mention how much he loves Red Sonja and the Frank Thorne stuff, which I'm a huge fan of that stuff as well. We get a Double Dragon cover to the collection of the new Fantastic Four. Then this Godzilla Summer Special. Definitely something I need to buy. I love this. Just a personal piece he did. Get this Vampirella Summer Nights. Again, the most beautiful woman, man. Batman vs. Predator pinup. It's pretty dope. Dark Horse Comics. Again, some of this stuff I've seen, I didn't see prior to this. Like, there was a lot of stuff I didn't know that he did. Just blew me away seeing this. This Marvel Holiday Special, again, didn't even know about this, but definitely on my list of things to buy now. This one I remember, the back cover of Showcase 93. Don't really see him do a ton of DC stuff. I think I mostly associate him doing Marvel, so always cool to see that. Get this Creature from the Black Lagoon. This is an expensive one. I looked it up after I went through this book, and it's not cheap, but definitely, again, on the list. Plus, I love the Universal Monster, so anytime I can check those comic books out, I'm always on board for it. Madman X 50 bubblegum cards, trading card. This is pretty cool. Get a Death image by him. Star Wars. Sick. Love this. Monkey Man and O'Brien. So this is from the San Diego Comic-Con comics. And then this is the one I know. This is from, Hellboy Seed of Destruction. This is the image that turned me on to Monkey Man O'Brien, made me want to pick it up. We get this Newman cover. We get Oblivion #1. I think it's funny because like this one, he says he can't even remember anything. And that, there was just a huge surge of independent comics for a while. And there was a series of bursts of stuff. And this was, he talks about the big image wave that happened and how, black and white boom and everything just in the 80s and 90s. Just so cool to see some of this like independent work that I wouldn't have known about otherwise. Get some Monkey Man and O'Brien, Wildstorm Universe 97. I definitely have not seen this, so this is one I would buy just for the cover for sure. The Gen 13 3D special, super cool. Seeing all these, I mean, dude, he draws dinosaurs really dope too. I'd read a book just Art Adams and dinosaurs, no words necessary. This one of my favorite pieces that he's done, the Clerks Holiday Special. I have that in my collection. Crimson 2, one of my favorite titles from the Image Cliffhanger stuff was Crimson. I loved Humberto Ramos, and I really dug this cover that Art Adams did for this one. Get this Buffy the Vampire Slayer cover. Remember this image firmly embedded in my brain. I remember seeing this cover in Wizard magazine for the first time. We got some Dark Child here. Lady Death. Lionheart, not familiar with that. That's from Awesome Comics. That was Rob Liefeld's imprint. Got the Telos cover. Some Batmans. PlayStation Magazine. Danger Girl. Love this. Gatecrasher. This is some personal work that he did. So just a ton of cool stuff here. This one I wanted to call out too because I recently did a video on this Superman 165, the Christmas issue where Superman visits all his Justice League teammates and gives them gifts. I love this because I love Flash, so I really love this moment between Superman and Flash. Get the Authority pages here. And he even talks about how he was looking a lot at Frank Quitely pencils from the previous issue, so he thinks that had something to do with his style, and I could totally see it in the faces a little bit, where it kind of has a little bit of Frank Quitely in there. Savage Dragon by Art Adams. You don't get to see that. Super dope. Art Adams sampler cover. Some Thundercats. Johnny Future. I wanted to call this out. I really love this. Again, it was a personal piece that he had intended to put into his like sampler book that he put out. I remember these two, the JLA Scary Monsters. I'm gonna have to pick this up now just for the covers. I don't have it, but I do remember it. Love these pieces that he does where it's just like his own creations, but there's no story there. I mean, he talks about like it was an idea for a story that was cooking and it's still cooking in his head, but it's pretty ambitious story, he says. So would love to see him expand on some of his creations. Talks about his Superman and wanting to like put his stamp on the character, so it was like firmly like this is an Art Adams Superman. And talks about some of his inspirations. I love this. I have this cover of Superman holding Calabac. And here we go, this Red Sonja cover. It mentions Frank Thorne. I love this one too, the Tomb Raider Witchblade Magdalena in Vampirella cover. Don't have that, but that's another one I'm going to pick up. Cool to see these Avengers Classic covers. Really dope. Love his Spider-Man too. Hulk from pencils to ink. It's crazy how tight those pencils are. Some of the Ultimate X pieces and him designing the characters. Love this Ragnarok cover he did for Walt Simonson's creator-owned book that he did over at IDW back in 2014, 2015. It's super dope. Then production art from Scoob. This is interesting. I know of the movie, but didn't know that he did some, production art for that, which is pretty cool. Guardians of the Galaxy stuff. This Walking Dead series of covers, so sick. This is another one stood out, this Bride of Frankenstein. Fathom, I don't remember ever seeing these covers either, but really love his take on her. Cool Black Panther cover. This one stood out to me too. I like getting to see all these different thumbnails, ideas for the covers, and he mentions that he would have been happy to do any of these, but this is the one that they went with, and we see Mary Jane and Groot. Again, get to see some of his DC stuff. I love this. Get all the thumbnails on this one as well. This is for Justice League 40 that came out in 2020. And Mecha Hellboy. Amazing screw-on head. His Harley Quinn, Joker. So sick. I love this too because he had mentioned, being into Ultraman, so him getting to do a cover and like basically he says 8 or 9 year old him would be the proudest that he's ever drawn. So cool to, see that. Talking about these Strange Academy covers that he did. Now this was really dope. I loved the series of Art Adams covers on this. He even talks about how he really loved working on this and he wished he had time to do more. Painting he did for charity, this death. I like that he mentions how he soaked the paper in tea to make it dingy, and then he did an ink wash on it. Tried some new stuff to see how it, what it would come out like, and I think it came out really dope. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, sick. This is the first time I've ever seen this one, so really dope. Then we kind of rounded out. We're getting towards the end. We get this, Bermuda cover he did for John Layman book over at IDW. We got a Masters of the Universe piece. That Venom piece he was working on at the beginning of the book. These are one of the Spider-Man covers that he worked on for the series a couple of years ago. And then we get a Frankenstein commission. And then we get this. This is the cover, but the full piece. So really cool, fold out. Then we get another back piece right there. But this book is freaking awesome. If you love art books, this is a great one to have. And if you love Arthur Adams, you definitely need to have this. So, I know I said I got this on Kickstarter, but I'm pretty sure it's available to order through your comic shop, or you could hit up Flesk. They have a bunch of dope art books on there. You can pick it up directly from them. And make sure you like, follow, subscribe, hit that bell icon so you're notified every time a new vid drops. And on that note, I'm out.